Welcome, Styrene Addicts, back to the channel. Appreciate you coming and joining me here for another kit review. This time it's the BanDai Star Wars 72nd Scale Resistance X-Wing Fighter. As the title suggests, I normally build aircraft, typically 1/48 scale, and I like just about any kind of aircraft in that scale and in that genre, whether it's jets, propeller, German, Allied aircraft. They all appeal to me in some way, one way or another. But I wanted to step outside of the box a little bit and wanted to get into something that I've never even tried before, even considered before. So I thought I'd go into some sci-fi. I do like Star Wars, and the X-Wing fighter is kind of reminiscent and reminds me of a jet fighter with its long, pointy nose. What looks to be intakes on the wings, and then jet engine exhausts on the back. So there is a lot of jet fighter influence in this or in the spacecraft. So I thought it'd be a good place to start. And I wanted to do a quick review from an aircraft builder's point of view of this model kit, as I've never built a BanDai kit and I've never done anything sci-fi or anything outside of aircraft or military for the most part. So let's get into it here. Cracking open the box, I did buy this kit used, or essentially not sealed. I got it from a swap meet that happened here near me locally just a couple months ago. So I was able to grab this kit for a deal. And the only thing about the kit was that it was unsealed. And other than that, it looks to be brand new to me. All the parts are still sealed, so we're going to crack it open as we go along. I did throw in some extra clear parts, as I have some ideas about maybe instead of doing I think it's the asteroid mech or astromech sitting in the back of the aircraft or of the spacecraft. See, I'm having so much trouble with this. Is maybe putting in a World War II style turret. And so I found some 72nd scale clear parts from a B-26 Marauder that has the turret that is about the right size for the hole that's in the back of the X-Wing. So I thought maybe I'd do something like that, but we'll see. I might still put in the astromech, I think it's BB-8 in the back anyway. So we'll just see how this goes along. So that is not part of the kit, just in case you were wondering. Now the kit does offer the ability to have it on I'm going to move this out of the way here. It does have the ability to have it on a stand, so you can put it in flight. And that is unique and interesting, as I can now have the choice of putting it on the ground with the cockpit open, or put it in flight with the wings open and in attack position, essentially. So that is kind of a fun little way to look at it. It looks like it's got the terrain here is maybe sand, I guess, or some kind of an earth. Or you could even paint this and make it look like water instead. So there's a little bit of an option there for it. So an interesting little addition to the kit. One thing I have noticed going through the kit is all through the parts, before even opening the plastic bags that they're in, is the parts look absolutely pristine. There is no flash whatsoever. Excuse me. You can see here, this is one of the sprues, and I mean, as far as kits go, I have pretty much built just about every brand of kit, old and new. And I've got to say, I've never done BanDai kits because it's all pretty much sci-fi and a lot of Star Wars. I am really impressed with not only the quality of the plastic, the cleanliness of the plastic, but also the high level of detail in the plastic. So I really appreciate all the tiny and minute detail, especially in some of these parts. I think this is possibly the landing gear here, and I think this is the behind the cockpit, and at the very back of the aircraft here. I'm going to bring it up to the camera so you can see. And if you are somebody who's looking to buy this kit to build it as the X-Wing fighter because you're a big Star Wars fan, this is a good review for that as well. You can see there's at 72nd scale, this is excellent detail. And I almost wish BanDai would build military aircraft if this is the kind of quality that they're pumping out for their sci-fi kits. Now, one thing I did notice about this kit is that it comes with a non-clear cockpit fuselage frame and it also comes with a clear one with the fuselage frame molded into the plastic. So it looks like this kit is designed obviously for people who may not want to paint this kit and just want to build it straight out of the box, as much as the plastic is in color. Let's get into some of that. So you have the option to essentially build this kit straight out of the box, no painting. It is a snap kit, so there's no gluing involved if you don't want to. And it comes with stickers or decals. So it gives you the option to just build it straight out of the box. And I'll show you here in a little bit the clear parts, as I was mentioning with this canopy part here. It comes with a clear one with the frame molded in, so that you can paint that one, so that you can actually have what would be a clear canopy with a frame, as opposed to this one, which is, you know, there's no clear part here to insert or anything like that. So this is meant to just be snapped onto the kit, but no clear part to represent what would be glass essentially for the cockpit. So that's for somebody who's looking to do, you know, a quick build, no painting, nothing like that, or someone who wants to mask off the frame and paint it. So here, the next sprue that I just happened to pull out that was in the box is mostly the wings, and then some of what I'm guessing is the tops and the bottoms of the wing, the main parts of the wings here, and then some of the tops and the bottoms of the wings that go in these insert parts here as well. You can see it's got the laser cannons here. I guess these might be part of the laser cannons as well. One thing I have been toying with as far as an idea for this is maybe doing a mashup between military jets and sci-fi, and maybe instead of putting in these laser cannons, replacing them with like 20 millimeter or 30 millimeter cannons, Browning type cannons like from World War II, or possibly even putting in a mini cannon, a typical cannon that you would find in a jet aircraft, a modern jet aircraft. So that might be a way to go as well. One thing I did notice about the X-Wing fighter is that I'm going to pull the box cover. Here it has what to me look like intakes, or you know, jet propulsion intakes of some kind. But of course, being sci-fi, this looks like something that would, when closed, would rotate. You know, be a turbofan essentially. So I was thinking I might even hollow that out and make that look like an air intake, like you see on jet aircraft, bottom of an F-16, or on the sides of modern jets like an F-18, where that's where the air would come in to feed to the engine further into the aircraft. So another way that I might play with this kit, and may even paint it in more U.S. Air Force or U.S. Navy colors, to kind of mash up between sci-fi and what I'm already used to with military jets. So there's a lot of potential here. You don't have to build it, just like any kit, you don't have to build it out of the box. But again, just a quick review of the parts. Beautiful, beautiful detail, pristine, clean plastic. You know, as far as quality of the kit goes, this is one of the nicest kits I've ever seen. And I've been modeling since I was 6 years old, so it's 30 plus years that I've been building models, back when it was all just monogram and Revell, and you had to use a whole tube of putty just to get that thing to go together. So this is the sheet here of the stickers, and the stickers and the decal sheet are basically the same, just the difference being is one is decal and one is stickers. So of course you can build this based on these stickers here. Obviously this is going to be the Resistance Fighter. Then getting into the last sprue, this is what I really found interesting with the BanDai kits. Let me crack this open here. So what I really find interesting is, because they are building this or selling this kit as something that you don't have to paint, it is really amazing how they're able to mold different colors onto the same sprue. So you can see here's the blue that I believe is on the sides of the wings, or maybe sides of the fuselage. Here's the clear part that I was talking about. Let me bring it up into the camera here. So the clear part is the canopy part that you can mask off and paint, so that you could represent a more realistic look of the canopy itself. And again, clear parts molded onto non-clear sprue. That is really, really cool. And as I understand, there may even be some slide molding involved with this as well to get such nice, clean, crisp parts that don't have to be assembled. I think these are laser streaks to show the X-wing essentially shooting lasers. So this could be something that can be attached, and you could even, if you're creative enough, you could light these up, put a little small, tiny LED, micro LED, and light these up. So that's kind of a nice touch. You do have a pilot right here, and you have the I think a BB-8, an astromech right here as well. And that's what I was talking about, where I might not insert that, and instead put in a gun turret. Or maybe even stick some guns on BB-8 here and make him control the gun. So who knows? There's a lot of options here. And here's the intakes I was talking about. Now, when the wings are open in its X pattern and its attack pattern, these are split. So, whatever the sci-fi reason is, just cool factor of splitting of this intake, to me it's a little odd, but I guess that's just the jet builder in me. To me, this looks like intakes, air intakes that would spin, a turbofan essentially, or just bring in a lot of air that is typically needed for a jet engine. So that's something that I might hollow out and build some kind of an intake tube essentially that would feed into and then I'll make a small turbo fan, or maybe source one out of a junk kit that I have, and make it look like jet intakes where the air is coming in. So a lot of different ways you can go about this, but again, beautiful clean plastic, not being a sci-fi builder, and not being like, I do like Star Wars, but not being like a fan, a big time fan of Star Wars. I can't say, or I can't comment on how real this is to the movies. I mean, to me it looks great. There's a lot of detail at this scale, and it lends to the ability to really play with if you wanted to do any kind of scratch building. I do not know if there's any PE or resin available for these kits. I didn't do any research on that, but there might be, so you could even add more detail to it. And then from I guess what I understand is these are in other movies, so you might be able to paint these in different variation. I think Poe had a black one, so you could paint it in his version as well. Here's the decal sheet. Again, let me pull the sticker sheet out. Very similar. The sticker sheet is the one on top, and the decal sheet is the one on bottom. So very much the same layout, just being stickers or decals. I do notice that it looks like they have decals and stickers for the canopy framing, so you don't have to paint that. So that's kind of interesting. Here's the back half, as well as the back half in a sticker form. So it is very different, very, very different from jet aircraft models. Jet aircraft models tend to assume that you're going to be a little bit more experienced of a builder, and you're going to they don't give you as many options like stickers or decals. They don't have canopy framing like they do with those decals there. So I do find that kind of unique and different compared to a lot of the aircraft kits that I build. So getting into the instructions, it's a trifold booklet, and it is on the front. It is in color, so a little bit different too from most of the jet aircraft instructions that I see. Most of those are in black and white through and through. It does have a basic legend for your sprues, so it probably to help you find your parts a little bit better and a little bit easier. And then starting from the assembly, here we go at step one. It does go into, it does give you some basic instructions on you will need some tools, some nippers to cut the parts and how to clean them up and whatnot. And then it gets into your basic assembly. And I did talk to some builders who do sci-fi and have built BanDai snap kits, and they have told me that you got to be ready to commit to the assembling of the parts when you snap them together, because it's basically next to impossible to separate them once they go together. But they said that the seams are very, very tight tolerances and very, very clean. So there is not a lot of cleanup or seam filling to do. So that's good news. But I will have to probably slow down my assembly process and make sure before I commit to snapping parts together. And they did tell me you can glue certain parts together, or you can remove the snap stubs and glue the parts together if you'd rather. So that way you have a little bit more time and for assembling. You don't have to commit as quickly, especially if you need to do any kind of dry fitting. The assembly is pretty straightforward. I mean, it starts here. Let me start back here at step one. It looks like it's going to start you in the wings and the jets, or the exhaust for the rockets, or whatever you want to call them. Moving further into the wings, then it gets into, one thing I do like about it is that it kind of shadows the parts that you're going to be using and the parts you're going to be assembling the parts to, so that way you can differentiate what you've already done to what you're already going to be assembling. And then moving on, it gets into, it looks like the wings are quite a few of the steps here, since that's a big part of the aircraft. And then finally it gets you into the fuselage. And it does highlight that you're going to be, here it says step 4, it highlights that you're going to be working on the fuselage part. So that is kind of fun too, where the instructions really do a good job of letting you know, okay, here's what you're about to do, and here's the parts you're going to be doing those to. So that is a nice little feature and something different, something I'm not used to with a lot of the other manufacturers' instructions. So getting into the cockpit, looks like the cockpit is fairly simplified at 70-second scale. They usually are. I have some aftermarket resin spare parts that I might get into and see if I can maybe put in a better looking seat, or maybe some better looking cockpit detail, depending on if I have the cockpit open. If I put it in flight, then I probably won't bother with any of that. So getting further along into the fuselage assembly, and like I said before, it looks like there might be some space if I do want to put what would look like a jet cannon machine gun into the fuselage. It looks like there is some space I could do that and cut an opening where the barrels would be able to fire through. So nice little change to the kit if you want to kind of do a little bit of a mashup. And then what I do like here is that it's got all your decal and sticker placement, but it's all in color, and that is different. Most of the instructions I'm used to, it's all black and white, and the colors are represented by dashes or zigzags or lines, essentially, just to differentiate the colors, or just shades of gray. Even though the colors could be, greens and blacks, it just gives you shades of gray. So this is really, really informative, and really gives you a nice idea of what the finished product is going to look like at every angle. It even gives you colors for BB-8 here, gives you colors for the pilot. So that is very different than what I'm used to, and a nice touch. And then I believe the other fold out here is for the last bits here, the putting in BB-8, the laser cannons, telling you if you want to have the landing gear up or down. So it does show you basically in flight with the wings open, closed on the ground with the landing gear down, and how to fit the doors if you want it in flight or not. And then lastly, of course, it gets into the stand. So pretty straightforward. You just snap in the stand into the base, and apparently there's some other little bits to pivot the position so that you can have it in different positions. So that's kind of cool. And then here's what I was talking about with like a simulated laser fire out of the cannon with those red little parts there. So this definitely is designed, from going through the instructions, looking at the parts, this is definitely designed for someone who has not built a model before, or who is not really into model building but wants to build this kit to have on display as part of their collection of Star Wars memorabilia. So that is kind of different and unique about the BanDai kit. As far as the kit goes, from an aircraft builder's perspective, it is one of the cleanest, nicest kits as far as the plastic goes, so I do recommend it if you are looking to build, whether you're a Star Wars fan and you just want to build an X-Wing fighter, or if you are an aircraft builder and you want to change it up a little bit, this is definitely somewhere to start. These kits, I picked up mine for, I think it was $20 used, and I believe they're retail in the 30s, but you can definitely find one for less than that used, and have at it. Thanks again for joining me here on the channel. Keep building, and I will make some videos as I build this, and if I decide to kind of change it up and do some jet type colors and maybe do some of those intake modifications, I will definitely do videos so that you can see the progress of that build.